Hey friends, thanks for clicking on this video. I want to welcome everybody to this channel, to this particular video, and also give a warm welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I certainly hope that some of the information that I have conveyed has been beneficial to you. As the title of this particular video is suggesting, I'm going to be talking about do-it-yourself homemade percussion primers. Now, like a lot of you, I myself have had a little bit of a problem finding primers, but let me put a little better qualifier on that. Since I've been a trader in Mountain Man Rendezvous for 3 decades, I myself have what some would consider an ample supply. And in fact, I was going over my supply just here real recently, and I discovered I still have some percussion caps that way back then my selling price was $3.50 a container. So that tells you how long I've been sitting on some of these percussion caps. With that being stated, obviously I have no need for percussion caps. So my purpose in purchasing the Primall reloading compound was to reload my pistol primers, my small pistol primers, 9mm and 380s to be more exact. And I'm just going to have to tell you, friends, I was very disappointed in the results that I had. Now, some of you may have had better results. This is just me and what I've experienced. So instead of just throwing everything away, I just put everything aside. And then while I put everything aside, I happened to come across the Super Bang caps, which are these, toy kid caps that goes in those toy guns. So what I did is I took these apart, took out the little compound that goes bang. I put 2 of those in one of my primers to reload my pistol cartridges, and well, I was successful. But at the same time, with the amount of shooting that I do with my black powder guns, I didn't want to go through my factory percussion caps that quick. So, like some of you, I invested into the tool to make my own percussion caps. So I would like to show you what I do and some of the things that I've experienced doing this myself. And I hope that you can also learn or glean something from this. Now, I will tell you, when I first started reloading my percussion caps, I was trying it with the Primall, and the problem that I experienced is that when you follow the instructions, it says to use a drop of acetone or denatured alcohol, let it set 5 minutes, compact it, and let them dry for a day. Well, that's all well and dandy, with the exception when you do a large quantity of them and the container moves around, the dried compound tends to come out of your percussion cap. So I went to Plan 13B, and I nitrated some coffee filters, took a hole punch, and I punched out some round discs that were the same size as the percussion cap. And what I discovered at that point, it became difficult to push them on to the nipple, because the nitrated coffee filter, that paper, could not push it through to get the cap to properly seat on the nipple. And plus, that being stated, I also couldn't tell at that time if I had enough Primall compound to actually set the charge off. And having experimented with this a couple years ago or so, I was having inconsistent charges because some of the Primall compound did fall out. So they've been sitting in this container for a while. Now I know some of you are probably going to say, well, that's why I only do 10 or 12 at a time and only shoot that many at a time. I don't do this many just for that reason. That's fine and dandy. But if I'm going to sit and make percussion caps like this, I'm going to do 100 of them. I'm not going to just sit and do 2 or 3 or 20 or 30 and shoot those that one day. So, how did I resolve this issue? Well, what I did is, let me just demonstrate real quick for the sake of those that may not know how this particular tool works. And let me reset the camera so those can see how this system works. So at this point, friends, obviously we're looking at close-ups. And for those that are not familiar with how this die works, I'm just going to demonstrate making a cap or two. We look for aluminum cans, cut them in the strips, place them into the die, and I gently let the die cut and do its job. Pull it out and you end up with a percussion cap. Let's see here. Get it with the... This is what you end up with. Now, at that point, this is what I do. And that may change depending on how the rest of this video turns out, because I did learn something at the rendezvous I was at a couple weeks ago, that there's some guys on the online forums that have found a better method of using the Primol, but I'll get to that a little bit later. So once the percussion cap is made, I take my little toy caps that are the Super Bang caps, and I cut 2 of them out. So I make a little slice, take a pair of tweezers, and then I bend it over, and then I can grab the little piece of whatever the chemical is that goes bang, then I can grab that. And I have a little wooden board that I make that I actually put the cap in to hold the cap stationary. Then I will put that one cap inside, and then I'll put another one on top of it. And there's the second cap. That'll go on top. Then what I do is I take some of my homemade gunpowder. What was saved at the 4F, and this is the gunpowder that I actually screened and not pucked. The reason why I've done that is because when I broom a little bit of that black powder on top of the 2 caps that came from the bang cap, then I take and I actually compress that. And because it's screened, it actually compacts really, really well. Okay? Then what I'll do is I will move that from this board, and I have another board that I made. The difference between the 2 boards is this. When I bought the die to make the percussion caps, I purchased it to make number 11 caps. What I soon discovered is that they were actually too big. So what I've done is I've taken another board and I actually drilled out the holes to just a hair smaller than what would be a number 10 cap. So I take the charged percussion cap, set it in there, and then I'll take my device that I made that I use to compress all of the black powder, and then I'll push it through that, which actually shrinks the cap a little bit more, and it becomes a lot tighter on the nipple in the gun. So what I'm going to do, yes, it's empty. I'm going to put that cap that I just made on the nipple, and it'll go off just fine. And if you listened real closely, you could hear it echo through the empty barrel. And that's, in previous videos, that's why I've stated I'm using what I would consider a magnum cap, because I actually go and put some black powder and compact that in the cap. That's how I do that. And I've been very successful with that. Well, there again, I've just been successful. No need to say anything else. Now, at the rendezvous, another buck skinner, we got into a discussion about making homemade caps. And this is what he conveyed to me, and I would wish to convey that to you at this point. And I will demonstrate, because I actually went and made some. He was explaining to me that he had read on a forum that when it comes to the Primol compound, a lot of the guys are foregoing using the ground glass, which would be this package that's cream colored. In the compound you have obviously the sulfur, which is clearly yellow. You also have the dark compound, which is dark, that's real clear, and then you have the other compound that is white. So if you're going to try this, it's pretty easy to recognize the ground glass because it's the cream colored compound. So what he was suggesting and what he read and what he even demonstrated is that you can forsake the ground glass. So when I came home from the rendezvous, I decided I was going to do my own experimentation, making the Primol and leaving out the ground glass. So what I have right here is some percussion caps that I made leaving out the ground glass. Now this set of percussion caps right here, what I did is I put the compound in the percussion cap, and I got some clear glue and I watered that down. I can't tell you if I went 50-50, 75-25. I just put some water in a container and poured in some clear glue that I thought was going to be an ample amount. And looking at this percussion cap right now, it looks like they're all in one solid piece, because the way I test my caps after they're done is I just drop them. And you can see, hopefully you can see that none of the compound is falling out. And in fact, that's how I actually test my other percussion caps when I pack gunpowder. I drop them, and any excess loose powder just falls by the wayside. And then my other set of caps that are right here, it's the same thing, only this time I used 75-25 mixture of denatured alcohol and bullseye shellac. So I'm going to try those out right here and see how well they do work. And once again, this is the Primol without the ground glass. That's pretty loud compared to the other percussion cap. And it's still leaving that dirty looking crap on the cone. That one didn't go off. I probably didn't have it seated right. There it goes. Okay, so without the ground glass, it works. Here's the percussion caps that I use the shellac to keep the compound in place. Didn't seat it. They're not seating all the way. Now it's seated. Still didn't go off. Whoops. Now that's up there. So let me grab another one with the shellac. Still didn't go off. Try it again. Looks to me like the shellac ain't gonna work. We put another one on there with the clear glue in the water. Get it on straight. That was burning up a little bit. Okay, so obviously the report is letting everybody recognize that they're definitely strong enough. I'm going to put one of my other percussion caps on it that has the bang caps and a little bit of compressed black powder. Not near as loud, but it is going off. And I can look at the top of this cone, the nipple, and it looks like it's a little plugged. In fact, it is. So, I'm wondering if it being plugged has anything to do with the shellac. That obviously would not be good. So at this point, I want to thank everybody for watching, because obviously I'm going to have to go and clean this out. Let me see if I can just... This is quite funny. It's making me look like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, isn't it? Oh, there we go. I went through that time. Let's see. All right, let's see what it does now. And I actually chose this pistol to do this experiment on because it'd be the easiest to clean. See, they're going off just fine. So, this is what I'm actually going to be sticking with. Even having done the experiment with the Primol without the ground glass, they do go off just fine. The ones that I did with the shellac, well, they're gone now. I'm not even going to bother with them, because in my opinion, they're just not worth it with the shellac. But the ground, or the Primol with the white glue, and in fact, you know, I may even decide to cut that back a little bit more. Very good report. So anyhow, guys, friends, thanks for watching. I hope you'll give the video a thumbs up, and I hope that you will certainly go and share it with your bestest of buddies, and at the very least here, you know conclusively that this compound goes off without the ground glass. So thanks for watching, and I hope everybody will have a blessed day. Bye.